Welcome to my July 2025 real estate market update. Now, there's been a lot of noise out there. Home prices, interest rates, rising inventory, builder incentives, and it's leaving a lot of people wondering, should I wait? Should I move now? Or is the entire thing about to crash? Well, today I'm going to break it all down for you with the latest national data, the expert forecasts, and a full update on what's happening right here in Frisco, Texas. Now, some of the local numbers may surprise you, especially when it comes to new construction and price reductions. But stick with me, because by the end of this video, you're going to have a clear picture of what's really going on and why this might actually be one of the best buying opportunities we've seen in quite a while. Let's dive in. Hi, this is Andrew with the Andrew Smith team, eXp Realty here in Frisco, Texas. And I'm going to start today with the one thing that's shaping the entire housing market, and that's mortgage rates. So here are the latest projections with regards to mortgage rates. And for anyone that was hoping that mortgage rates were going to start to tumble, this is not exactly what you wanted to see. So Fannie Mae, the Mortgage Bankers Association, and Wells Fargo all point to the same thing. Rates are not going to fall dramatically anytime soon. And in fact, the 30-year fixed rate mortgage is expected to hover somewhere between 6.4 and 6.6% all the way into the middle of 2026. And here's what James Egan from Morgan Stanley had to say about it. Looking ahead through the rest of this year and into 2026, we don't expect mortgage rates to come down much, at least not through the third quarter. I think he meant to say 2026 there. So affordability will remain pressured. So one way to get around that is new builder incentives. And if anyone's been out looking at new homes, you'll know that new home builders have really been attacking this really hard. In fact, as Zonda recently pointed out, 57% of new home communities in May offered incentives on to-be-built homes and 75% on quick move-in homes. And as you know, I'm a massive fan of quick move-in homes. If you haven't seen any of the videos I've done on them, I invite you to check around some of the other videos on this channel. Here in Frisco, I've seen the builders offering between $50,000 and $100,000 off in the form of price reductions and offering interest rate incentives. And in a little while, I'm going to share with you what some of those latest interest rate incentives are. But I have to say, there is a twist. Shoppers in the market for a new home will still have options in many markets, but are likely to be in a good place to negotiate. But builders are already adjusting their outlooks and slowing the development pipeline, which could mean that new homes are harder to come by in the next year. So what exactly does that mean? Well, it means right now there are incredible incentives in new construction. But as the builders start slowing down the pace of building to better match what's going on, then you're going to find that this window of negotiating power may not last much longer. Now, with that in mind, we are starting to see a more balanced market across the country. You're going to see in just a minute that all real estate is local, and what's going on varies greatly depending upon where you live. But the Associated Press pointed out that fewer buyers means less competition for home listings and more pressure on sellers to dial back their asking price and make other concessions to help get a deal done, which is a stark reversal from just a few years ago when it wasn't uncommon for homeowners to receive multiple offers way above their asking price from many different shoppers. You know, not all areas of the country are in a full buyer's market yet, but we are definitely seeing things tilt that way in many areas, especially in the South and the West. So what's the impact on all of this with regards to home prices? So The National Association of Home Builders noted that after record appreciation, price growth is clearly slowing down. As they said, it slowed in the first quarter of 2025, partly due to a decline in demand and an increase in supply. And I'm going to show you a tool in just a little while to help you gauge that in your local market. And again, persistent high mortgage rates and increased inventory combined to ease upward pressure on house prices, and these factors have signaled a cooling market following years of rapid gains. But what exactly does that mean? What are prices going to do? Well, Mike Simonson, who's the co-founder of Altos Research, and you know all of my local market reports are based on Altos Research data, he says the vibe for home prices are growing much more bearish. For the rest of 2025, we can see that inventory levels, especially in the Sun Belt, are now sufficient to put downward pressure on home prices. This seems likely to continue and spread to more states, but most importantly, there isn't much in the data that shows significant home price declines. So what exactly does that mean? If you're out there expecting there to be a crash, I'm not saying there will or there won't be. I'm just saying, as Mike is saying here, that currently in all of the data we have, we are seeing things balance. We are seeing prices soften, but we aren't seeing any of the other indicators that show things are about to come crashing down by any means. When we look at home prices more specifically, this is showing here that in 22 of the 50 largest metros, home prices have fallen. Now, I know this is really hard to read and I can't really blow it up much on this screen, but I'm going to tell you in the description below, I do have a link to my blog, and I have this slide along with this full report in a blog, and you can actually look up where this is, what all these areas are specifically. So I will point out over here, on this far right side, you've got Tampa and Austin, Texas leading the way as far as home price declines between May 24 and May 25, down about 5%. Dallas, Texas is right here at just under 3%. And then on the far side over here, you've got Ohio, New York, Kentucky, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Illinois, Pennsylvania. They're all showing price increases still. And that's consistent with what we've been seeing and what I've been reporting the last few months. You've got a very strong market in the upper Midwest and the Northeast. And then all of the Sun Belt, the South and the Southwest are the areas that have been showing downward pressure on pricing. So what exactly does all of this mean overall? Well, these are the latest home price forecasts for the rest of 2025. So again, you've got Zillow and Redfin showing that they're projecting price declines of between 1 and 1.4%. Most others are still showing positive price appreciation. Fannie Mae is expecting 4.1%. I think Fannie Mae is being overly optimistic myself. The average of all of this together is a 1.9% increase for the year nationally. I would say that's probably more accurate based upon what I'm seeing overall. But I can tell you here in Frisco, prices have been pretty flat, and I don't see that changing much going forward, but we'll get into that local data in just a couple of minutes here. And with regards to overall home sales, 2024 was a horrible year for home sales. Just over 4 million homes sold for the entire year, which was down from 6.5 million back in 2021. Now this year they are expecting home sales, I should say, total home sales to go up slightly, but not a lot. You've got National Association of Realtors at 4.3 million, and then you've got Zillow at 4.14 million. So again, just slightly above where we were last year. So now that's all of the national data that I'm going to cover this month. And I'm going to turn my attention to the local market here in Frisco. But even if you're not in Frisco, I invite you to stick around. I'm going to show you exactly what metrics to watch in your own market. And the report I'm going to be showing you is available for every single city or zip code in the entire country. And I'm going to show you exactly how to get that same data for your market. All right, so what we're looking at here is the median sales price trends here in Frisco. So to give you some more information, I'm only looking at single family homes right now, and I'm looking at all construction types. And I'm going to show you why in just a second. And this data is for June 2025. So in Frisco, sales prices for June were down 3.1% year over year. So does that mean that prices in Frisco are going down? No, they're really not. If we go back over the last year, you can see, I mean, we started, well, let me get to January. We started the year at median sales price in January of $703,000. We're now at $707,000. So, are prices down? No, I've been saying forever, really, that they are basically flat. You're going to get variations from month to month. You can see we had a big drop off in February. We jumped again in March, dropped again in April and May, came back up again in June. But pretty much overall, prices in Frisco are remaining pretty flat. Now, if we look at just resale homes, again, you can see that 4.9% down from June to June. But again, here's January, 660. We're now at 673. So we've actually gone up slightly. And the resale prices have been increasing slightly since about March. But we are not following the trends of a normal year. Normally, we see prices start in January. They peak around June, and then they start going down for the year. Then they go and peak. Then they, in November, they peaked up again. But normally you see this pattern. They go up, they go down. And then here, we never saw it, right? Here's February. We never really got the jump in the spring market that we normally get. But if I look at new construction, check this out. New construction prices year over year are down nearly 26%. So when I was saying earlier that new construction is where some of the absolute best opportunities in the market today exist, this is why the builders are really moving to, or really working to get inventory moving. So they are offering the steepest discounts and the most incentives. So if you're in the market to buy, definitely don't ignore new construction. And if you'd like information on what new construction, where the opportunities are, then I invite you to reach out. Go ahead and call or text the number that is up on your screen, or all of my contact information is in the description below. All right, so now what we're looking at is actually from my Altos report. So again, Frisco's not the area that you are in. In the description below, I have a link to this actual market report. Right here at the top gives you an right here at the top, I should say, right here it gives you an opportunity to search any city or zip code in the entire country. So you can get this data for the area that is of interest to you. Now, this right here is a great little tool. It's known as the Market Action Index. So what in the world is that? This basically is a gauge. It's showing the balance or imbalance between supply and demand. Any reading less than about 30, which as you can see is right here, favors buyers. Anything above 30 starts to favor sellers. We're right at a 32. So our market is fairly balanced right now based on all activity. But considering the market just a few years ago was at 100, it feels really, really slow right now. It is in fact just in a balanced market, but buyers have a lot more choice than they've had in years. And right now there's definitely a discrepancy when we start looking at market value, what a seller believes market value of their home is, and what a buyer is willing to pay is not the same thing. And having someone in your corner that understands that and can help you with those pricing strategies is key in the current market. Now, to kind of get an idea on where things are going, right here I'm looking at the median list price. Why are we looking at list prices? Well, most homes are still selling within a couple of percent of where they are being listed. So if we track the list prices, we can start to get an idea of where the forward trends in the market are. Sellers in the market right now are not listing their homes just to sit. It's going to vary from neighborhood to neighborhood and situation to situation. But as you can see right here, again, prices have been pretty flat. all the way back to December. You look here, 750, 768, 758, 759. And here we are right now at 773. So we're not seeing a great deal of movement with regards to list prices. They're just holding fairly steady. Could that change? Yes, but I don't think it's going to drastically, and here's why. If I change and I look at inventory, as you can see, this is back in 2020. Inventory has been climbing rapidly since the middle of last year. But this dashed line is the 7-day trend line. It's starting to turn down. Inventory for the year appears to have peaked. I touched on this last month and said we'll have to wait and see. Is this a blip or is this a trend? Well, what we're seeing right now is it looks as though in June is right when our number of listings peaked, and then the amount of homes on the market has been coming down slowly since then. So we are starting to see a decline in the amount of homes for sale. And remember, you're also seeing that on the new construction side. So that's why I'd mentioned now offers a fairly unique buying opportunity that probably isn't going to be around for much longer. Last up here, properties with price decreases. And as anybody knows, I absolutely love this stat because it's an indication of future pricing. So if sellers are having to continually cut their price, it shows weakness in the market. That also appears to have peaked. We're not seeing that continuing to go up. We've seen it start to flatten out and actually could be turning and start to come back down. So that would indicate there are not going to be drastic price drops going forward in the next few months. So what does all this mean if you're considering buying or selling in the current market? Well, if you're a seller, pricing is of paramount importance. You can't look at what sold 6 months ago and expect that those are your comps for today's market. It just doesn't work. Things are changing too rapidly. You really need to take a look at what's actively on the market right now and see how your home is positioned against those. And you want to make sure that you're the one that people want to come and see. So price is important and presentation is equally important. Buyers make opinions right from the get-go. From the photographs online to what they see when they show up outside, you have to be presented in the absolute best possible light. If you're buying right now, there are incredible opportunities out there. You're able to get deals that you couldn't get in the last few years. As you've seen, if you're sitting on the fence waiting for mortgage rates to come down, that's not likely to happen anytime in the next 12 months. So what's the answer? Well, again, mortgage rate buy downs. Even resale homes are offering those right now. Many of the sellers I work with have been offering those. That can get you a discounted mortgage rate for the next couple of years, which is going to help you get into that home much more affordably. And as rates start to come down over time, a refinance is possible to bring that rate back down and lock it in. But your bonus tip for this month, if you're looking for the absolute best deal in today's market, then quick move-in new construction homes are it. I specialize in those. I film them all the time and show you what is possible out there. As a matter of fact, I've toured many in the local area recently. I invite you to check out some of the other videos on this channel to see those. And I went through one recently where the price reduction had been $130,000 and the builder was offering a 4.49% mortgage for the first year and a 5.49% mortgage fixed for years 2 through 30 thereafter. So you are getting a home with a big price reduction and a 5.5% mortgage for the life of the loan. So if you've got questions about those, want to know where those best deals are, then I invite you to reach out. You can always go ahead and call or text the number that is on your screen. Or alternatively, if you go ahead and scan this QR code, it's going to take you directly to my calendar where I invite you to book a free 30-minute consultation, and I would be more than happy to talk to you about all of the different options. So whether you're buying or selling, the market in July 2025 is very different from just a year or two ago. And if you'd like to talk more about your situation or get a custom strategy built just for you, then go ahead and follow that link and I'd be happy to walk you through it. So thanks so much for watching today, and I will see you in the next video.